Um,
Hello and welcome to It's Sybil. I'm Sybil Wilkes, and the girls are here today. We're going to be joined by a gentleman in a little bit, and I hope that you'll stick around because we're going to be talking about HBCU football. I love it. Absolutely
Yay!
love it. Absolutely love it. Aprilette, how are you?
This Thursday, I'm doing good. I am doing well. I
Good.
feel good today. Thank you for asking.
Well, we were concerned. You had a couple of weeks there where the
Yeah,
migraines were
we're
really
kicking
kicking.
kicking that butt. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel good today, and I don't know if y'all have noticed my background, y'all.
Oh, you did some DIY in there at the house, huh?
Trying to get this Wi-Fi together because I know folks always see me talking and my lips moving at the different times. So we trying to keep it real good today. I'm trying to be on my best behavior.
Well, you're always on your best behavior. It's your technical that is a little, but that's, that's technical. That's the internet for you. Yolanda, welcome back. How are you? Yolanda
Hi,
Starks White.
Sybil. I'm great. I'm
Good.
doing great.
Always, always.
Always.
Yeah.
I work at it. Today was
Was today a challenging day for you?
so I can't say it was challenging, but Ward the Great did come in and say, "Baby, you are really grinding lately," and I don't like that.
I know you don't. You're not a grinder.
No, no, I'm trying to sit up and have a cigarette. That's how I want to live my life, Aprilette.
And she does not smoke,
Yeah,
Aprilette,
I know
for the
she
record.
does not.
I'm just, I'm just
Illusion of the sig.
right,
Right,
right.
right, right,
You
right.
get it, you get it. That's what I'm trying to do, and it's like,
Oh, darling. Yeah, I would
Oh,
say.
darling.
Zabo, I'm gonna have to refigure this thing out because if it looks like I'm working hard, then I'm working too hard.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
And
I am not about that life anymore. So we'll see. But I
well,
do. Go ahead.
no, Powerball, comes up this weekend.
Oh,
Mega
Oh,
Millions comes up this
how
weekend.
much?
I don't know what the numbers are, but
Okay.
I, heck, you can't win if you don't play. So
Hey, well, you
exactly.
know what? All right, let me get my $2.
yeah,
How much is it?
for
Let me
one
get.
game.
Okay. All it takes is one.
She said, "Let me get my $2 and head over to the store,
To the
Okay.
corner store.
to the corner store."
Yeah, let me make that happen. And trust me, you won't have to look for me. I'll be around, but I'm telling you, I really will do nothing.
And all night too. Well, that's because she won't even have to worry about getting up
Well, just
for
because do
anything.
you realize, Aprilette, do you realize how much TV there is to watch?
Oh my goodness, you and your shows, honey. How do you not get migraines from looking at the screen that long?
Oh, well, funny you should mention that. I'll tell you why I think for real. And to your so I'm gonna make this fast. I see the clock.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you, by the way, sidebar, you look beautiful. I mean, you
Oh,
really look
In
yeah.
your boardroom, your DIY boardroom and everything, it looks
face,
great.
your hair, your nails are on point. You really, really look beautiful. But I wanted you to consider, and I was gonna tell you this offline, but I'm telling you now.
Okay.
Stress is one of the major contributors to migraines.
Mm.
Stress, dehydration. And so I really, really want you to consider to really, really, really monitor your stress.
Thank you for that because I know I need to. But I did go get a massage and woo, baby. That was the best $140 that I spent because
Good.
yes,
Yes.
it relieved all of the tension that was in my neck and my
Right.
shoulder.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Let me and not to belabor the point, but let me just tell you a little story about Yolanda Starks White. There was a time when she was working for a big corporation, a television company, and she was putting together
It was
major
BET.
shows.
It's
Okay,
okay.
okay. Um, but it was so stressful, Aprilette, that Yolanda, who loves massages and all of that, she went to get a massage, and the man turned her away. He said she was
Why?
too stressed. She had too many knots,
I
and he said
yeah.
he could not work on those in good
Oh,
conscience. And
mm,
so she,
I believe that.
that was the beginning, I think, the beginning of Yolanda's effort to de-stress and to do
Yeah.
something for herself. She
Who
needed
was the
some
lady?
other.
But what's crazy is, Sybil, I didn't even realize I was that stressed. I mean, because again, the reason why Aprylete for real, I'm looking forward to doing nothing is because for a long time, like I was really grinding. I was one of the first people that would say, "Oh, you sleep when you die."
Right.
That was when, back when we put together 106 in Park, that was crazy. And we actually have one of AJ Calloway's friends that's coming on later. But that's when we were in the middle of moving our offices from DC to New York. And I was in the thick of it and I was loving it. And I didn't even realize I was stressed.
That you were stressed. Wow.
But, God, I was foolish. Oh my God, I can't believe that I was that foolish back then.
Well, you were pretty young, and you were coming from radio, and it was the early days of the Joyner Show. So she was running, and then she took this job and moved to LA, and then LA to New York, and then back and forth and back and forth.
It's the grind. We got to find balance.
Right.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me how foolish I was and to relax and sleep?
You would not have listened to me.
Especially during that time.
No. Because you knew it all. You knew it all. It was like being, no, you did. I mean, you did.
Oh, look at the time.
All of a sudden the producer comes out in her. Okay. All right. Let's move to the What You Need to Know newsletter. And this is our Monday through Friday effort to super serve the African American community with our stories about and for Black people. And we have a number of young contributors who bring their perspective into the newsletter. And Aprylete Russell is our mental health and wellness contributor. And we have political contributor Cameron Riley, his little sister, LGBTQ plus contributor Quinn Townsend Riley, and social justice contributor Coy Malone. Today, you're up, Aprylete, and as a mental health and wellness contributor, tell us about the story that's related to ADHD.
Okay, so there is a new study out where researchers have uncovered that there is a connection between ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and increased likelihood to experiencing depression, suicide attempts, and post-traumatic stress.
Right.
So in this study, people with ADHD were 30% more likely to attempt suicide and 9% more likely to develop major depressive disorder. And I do want to make a sidebar that September is Suicide Awareness Prevention Month. And I do want to go ahead and give a number. Yeah, I don't know if I froze up, but I'm so sorry. I do want to give a number if anybody is experiencing a mental health crisis or know someone. 988 is the number to text and to call.
It's just a 3-digit number.
Yep, 988. Very, very quick, very simple, very easy. So in the study, the doctor, who is Dr. Dennis Furor, he says that ADHD and suicidal behavior share common genetic factors that may reflect genetic variants associated with impulsivity. And so with the impulsivity, that is why it is likely that people with ADHD may attempt suicide at some point. So that's where that link is. And I thought this was interesting because in the Black community, we are undiagnosed, a lot of us, when it comes to ADHD, and there's a stigma around it. And I think that the education around it not only being a childhood disorder, there are adults with ADHD as well that have gone undiagnosed in a lot of Black women. So when you think about being stressed at work, or if you cannot focus, or you're losing the ability to multitask and things like that, that may be a sign. And I'm no doctor. I do not know, but I do know if you are experiencing some symptoms or you're feeling like your attention is all over the place, there are lots of self pre-screening tests that you can take on mentalhealthofamerica.com. And it's a questionnaire, about 10 questions. You just answer the questions. And then after that, it can give you some kind of just reassurance of if you're feeling some symptoms, and you can go ahead and get some resources in that way to maybe get a diagnosis and talk to a therapist.
I don't know if you can answer this question, but back in the day, it used to just be ADD. Is it now been expanded to the adding the H to hyperactivity, or is there still ADD and ADHD? Do you know?
There's still both. So the H, of course, is the hyperactivity with it. Again, since I'm not a doctor, I am not for sure well, the difference is the hyperactivity, right? So there is a distinct, but there are still both diagnoses.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
Because when we didn't understand how people's behaviors were, was oh, it's that ADD or something like that, and kind of make light of it. But and especially now, as more adults have been diagnosed with this,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then they're asked to kind of go back into the Wayback Machine and about their lives as children
Yeah.
and things that they encountered in the classroom, on the
Hmm.
playground, whatever. And then like, yep, those were the signs. We just didn't know
Yeah.
what we were looking for.
And a lot of
Um,
things, I think that outside of genetics, when you think about environmental, a
mhm,
lot of things are bred in your environment that you're in. When you think about work, when you think about your family structure and how you navigate the world, and just what I'm sorry, I missed this part in the study. 18% of people who are experiencing ADHD, they're likely to experience post-traumatic stress. And when you think
mm,
about us as a community, us as a whole, there's a lot of events that may cause us stress. We deal with a lot of events in our community and our environment that causes a lot of trauma.
yeah.
And that's something to think about as well, just the environment you're in and how to maybe mitigate those symptoms that we're experiencing. And I think Yogi, maybe you can kind of speak to that when it comes to mindfulness and just kind of being in a conscious state, how that could help your mental health and maybe help not create a crisis. And I know some things can, or are inevitable, right? But
Or
when
or to recognize it and to be able to head it off before it
yeah.
does become a crisis.
Hmm.
Yolanda,
Or
is that something you come across in your
well,
studies?
well, in my studies, what we try to do is we don't try to head off things because they will happen. What we try to do is we try to prepare you for when they come,
Hmm.
so we can respond to different situations and circumstances as opposed to react. Because things are gonna come, things, unexpected things that you don't have the power of to head off. That we that the daily mindfulness, when things come, things go, things come, things go. And that's just how you live your life on a daily basis. So when
Hmm.
things come, if you're already in that flow, then that's just part of the way.
So, hmm.
And it's sort of like the waves coming in and then they go out. And they
Yep.
come in and they go out. And
And
that's
just remembering that, and that's what the good and the bad. I mean, that's one of the great things about yoga, if you can say yoga out loud. But it's about balance. It's about balance, and it's even the highs and the lows,
hmm.
Yeah.
because you can't be on that high all the time. And I think that's what I was doing when I was with BET. I was on a high that
Just
whole time.
moving, moving,
Right.
moving, moving,
I was
moving.
on, and that just wasn't healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as a result, I do think that as a result, again, I was so tight I couldn't even get a massage. So yeah, but it is the daily, it's something that you're mindful of every. I just don't know how to express that. Aprilette, you are our mental health person. How can we get you to daily be mindful of your mental health?
Mm. I'm trying. I'm really, really trying
Well,
every
and way to put her on the spot. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, sweet girl. I'm just saying, but for somebody who is mindful of it,
yeah,
that's just how hard. That's the challenge of it.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that shows you how difficult this
That
is.
was really
Yeah.
my point.
Yeah. Yeah.
to show
Yeah.
that it's difficult, y'all.
And it's real. And
Yeah.
it's real.
We have to
Yeah.
make a conscious effort every day. Just how we brush our teeth in the morning and wash our face and make sure we are clean and we bathe. We have to
And
make
some of us don't get to that all day, every day, but I'm just saying, there are some things that I'm sharing too much. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
What you
kidding.
got going on in your life that you can't range off, as Jan
I
the
live
grandma
alone. There's not a cause for
said. But see, range
that.
off
I did. I did. You
for
can
your
rest
mental
assured.
health.
Yes, right, right.
for your sense.
Um, but it is something that if you have a schedule, if you have a to-do list, and sometimes you have to put take a moment to breathe, take a
Yeah.
moment to
Right.
to to do your a check on yourself, um, in order to get through your day and to
Yeah.
to do what you need to do on a regular basis.
Hmm.
Make it a part of your daily routine.
And I do want to
Absolutely.
say really quick that because when you said that, in my mind, I'm always racing against time, but I'm
Mhm.
learning that. I mean, there is time, but time is an illusion. So it's just like, what am I rushing for? I noticed that I walk so fast. Where am I going? Like, I don't have anywhere to get. And
But you do everything quickly. You
I
talk
do.
fast. You
Yes, and I am trying to be mindful when I'm speaking and I'm walking and things like that because I do everything fast, and that's how I get tripped up. And
Right.
that's where my thoughts can never come full. Like even now, I'm just like, what am I saying? So that's one thing when you said the routine and things like that. To just be if you struggle with routine and things like that, take a moment. It's okay. Like, what are we rushing for?
Right.
And so I'm trying to do that for myself. So I just wanted to share that.
and it's a good thing that you have a dog, and so when those walks come
Mm.
and that you have those times that you are out there engaging with Gucci, that you are taking the time and because that is something that I still struggle with, is to be present, and every year I say, this year I'm going to be more present, and I think I'm getting better, but I'm not as good as I can be.
Nice.
And
Well, that's
so
good.
that
Celebrate
is, yeah, thank you.
that. Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things that we discuss in our What You Need to Know newsletter. Another story that we have, I was very excited to do this. I love the representation of our young Black people in the U.S. Open. And for the first time in the Open era, four young Black tennis players represented for the first time, as I said, in the Open era, have been in the at least the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open and in the Grand Open series. And it's particularly important to recognize this because this is the American Open in New York City.
Right.
And Coco Gauff, Madison Keys, for a moment, Francis Tiafoe, who lost against fellow Black tennis player Ben Shelton. And so take a look at that story. And you talk about, some of them recognizing where they are and what this moment means to them. Some of the young people did. Francis Tiafoe was like, yeah, man, this is like my brother. And he and I, have played this game together. Now here we are in New York City in Arthur Ashe Stadium,
Yeah,
Wow.
that's huge. That
and
is.
recognizing that's really and that's and a lot of people say, oh, I'm tired of hearing about us being the first this and the first that. Aren't we past that? No, we're not. And we ought to recognize and congratulate these people for what they're doing. Now Madison Keys, she has a white mama and a Black daddy, and she doesn't recognize her whiteness or her Blackness. She says she's just Madison. We've heard this before,
Mm.
and we will likely hear this again in this age of integration. But um, and interracial relationships. But there are some people, young people, who recognize and for those old heads who remember, when Venus Williams first was making her appearance at Wimbledon and didn't have the clothes. She didn't have the clothes to play because it was all white then that you had to wear.
Mm.
And those were the white dress that she wore is what brought Madison Keys into the game
Mm.
because she was so overcome with the look, and she wanted a dress like that, and her parents said, okay, if you play tennis you can get a dress like that. And so that started her
Oh,
sojourn
wow.
into tennis. But remembering that all of the big sponsors and things like that, they weren't coming to the Williams girls, and there were those before them that stood on the shoulders of Althea Gibson, and just imagine what she did not have back in the 40s and 50s. So just kind of a little recap of history and what all this means. Also, before we close out, I want you to take a look at a story that we're doing on peripheral artery disease.
Mm.
This is PAD, and it affects more than 8.5 million people in this country. The majority of them are 65 and older. And of course, Black folks are 2 times more likely to be affected by PAD, peripheral artery disease. We're going to have a special show on this September 21st on our YouTube and Facebook channel, and we, along with an American Heart Association uh, official. So please join us for that and take a look at the stories that we are providing for you in advance of this. And you can subscribe to the What You Need to Know newsletter by going to SybylWilkes.com. Give us your name and your email address. We'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. If you have a problem and it's not coming to your email box and it's not in your junk or your spam file, give us a shout at SybilWilkes.com, and we have people who can help you get that. Okay. So with that, that is our What You Need to Know newsletter. And we didn't get to talk about many things, but I'm glad we were able, of course, to talk about mental health and wellness and get a little bit of history in the sport of tennis. I love tennis. I'm not a good tennis player. I have poor eye-hand coordination, but I do love the sport. And
Can I say something?
of
I
course,
just signed up I'm in Dallas and I found someone that does beginner tennis lessons for adults. And I just signed up for a course. So if you want to get back into tennis and take a little whack at it, I'll give you the information.
can't tell you how many times people have offered me that opportunity. So let us move on to our what's really going on segment. And perhaps we should just take a beat before we invite a gentleman of class and progression into our conversation, ladies. We've been talking about it for a while, but HBCU NY Classic time is here. And we welcome in Mr. Albert Williams. The second annual HBCU New York Classic returns to MetLife Stadium Saturday, September 16th. A great game between Morehouse College and Albany. It's not Albany. It's Albany is in upstate New York. This is Albany
Oh,
College
Annie.
and State University. And the kickoff is Saturday afternoon, September 6th, because a lot of people don't understand how big and how much fun classic games can be. We know homecoming. We've seen the TV shows, we've seen the movies, and we understand that and HBCU homecoming is unlike any other homecoming you're likely to attend, right? And you call this the world's largest HBCU homecoming.
Yes, we do.
Why?
Because we expect in the Northeast area where we don't have a lot of HBCUs, well, there's no HBCUs in the Northeast area. We have a lot
Right.
of graduates that sit here, right, that live and work in the Northeast. So if they're unable to go back to homecoming because of work commitments, family commitments, spend a Saturday with us at MetLife Stadium. The parking lot is probably a couple acres, right? And we'll set up some tents. And we'll have the largest HB homecoming. So multiple schools will participate. A lot of the D9s come out and set up tents,
Hmm.
and we did it last year for the first time, and we had a little bit over 35,000 people in attendance.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
that's
That's
awesome.
crazy.
That's awesome. And
Fantastic.
and and
Congratulations.
more winning and more people there than you might find in a Sunday football game, I dare say, for those two teams that play there. Um, so I'm a Bears fan, sir. There's nobody that should show up at Soldier Field. So trust and believe.
Yeah.
You've been quoted as saying, Mr. Williams, that your goal is to showcase the HBCU culture and life experience through a full week of events. I know that you have a Greek show, a step show. I know that you have a career fair, but you have a real full schedule of events throughout the week. Can you share with people what some of those things are?
Sure. So starting on Monday, we have the mayor's kickoff luncheon at Sylvia's in Harlem.
Oh,
Then, right, um, right before that, a career fair starts. A high school education day. Keep on saying career fair, but it's a high school education day, college fair, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at BMCC. Last year we only did New York. This year we added Newark, New Jersey, the largest city in New Jersey, and
hmm.
we're going to do that at NJIT. In my world, I don't think it's feasible for students to be bused from Newark to Manhattan. Right? We should bring it to their community, bring it to their doorsteps,
Amen. All
give them the
right,
Right.
Mr. Williams.
give them the
Yeah.
opportunity. Yeah, give them the opportunity to attend. And I could say that I'm overwhelmed by the number of folks that are signed up for both.
Oh, praise
Yes.
Like
God.
there's like 2,500 students in New York and like 2,200 as
Oh
of
my
last time
goodness,
in
Mr.
Jersey.
Williams. Oh,
So that's
wonderful.
that turnout. We expect that turnout, to just it'll be an amazing opportunity for the kids, and we only hope
Congratulations.
for it to get bigger and bigger. Thank you.
So now the NJIT, that's the New Jersey
And
Institute of Technology. Is that,
yes, ma'am.
am I
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Dang,
in that
Sybil know everything.
and
Good night. Who would
in
know
that
that?
place,
Sorry,
Hmm.
Sybil.
in that place, you will also have admissions officers from, especially from Morehouse and Albany. Is that
Yeah,
correct? And other schools will be involved as well.
correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's a tremendous opportunity.
I just have a quick question. So
Sure.
how does that work? They're just going to have booths set up and people go to the booth. Like what's going to happen at the event?
Sure. So it'll be tables. Tables will be set up with a little pipe and drape where if you need to, like, let's say you're a junior or senior, and you want to go for a one-on-one interview with a counselor, where admissions could be made on spot. So we encourage students to come with their resumes and come out, fill out applications, etc. Right.
Nice.
So, but it's just a walkthrough. They visit each table. They hear a little bit about the HBCU experience. They'll have a conversation with the counselors. Some schools actually send alumni out. Some alumni actually volunteer. So we have some of our sponsors, like for example, MetLife. They'll have some of their HBCU alums actually there working the career fair to answer any questions from the student perspective.
Right.
You could get it from the counselor, kind of my school versus that school.
Right,
But,
right.
right. As a sales thing, and not necessarily sales, but we want to attract you. But hearing it from a student perspective brings a different light.
And there's nothing like the alums coming and
Right.
sharing their experiences because, and I'm not taking anything away from the admissions counselors and what have you, but for a real HBCU alum to come in and say, yo, you need to check this out. And
Mhm.
here's where, what makes a difference. And I'll tell you why. Because we have historically worked with the Tom Jordan Foundation, we now have a foundation with young people in HBCUs. But I just finished the first season of Redefined, the J.R. Smith story. And J.R. Smith wanted to go to North Carolina. He wanted to be a Tar Heel. And he went from high school right to the NBA, right? And so now he finds himself at North Carolina A&T and on the golf team, not on the football team, not on the basketball team, but on the golf team. And seeing this through his eyes and his seeing it through the eyes of his teammates, it's an incredible experience. And that's something that everybody needs to see and to experience. And coming from an alum, that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does.
So moving along to what you have, the great debate at the Apollo, HBCU inspired. What is that?
So the great debate is a debate between Morehouse and Rutgers. Albany doesn't have a debate team yet. Right?
Hmm.
Hopefully, this will encourage them to get a debate team or start a debate team. But they're going to debate Rutgers. The topic is affirmative action, which makes perfect
Awesome.
sense, right? School years just started, which what happened in the Supreme Court at the end of their current term, and the end of their last term and the start of this current term. Affirmative action is a great topic for us to be discussing. And then HBCU Inspired is my version of a TED Talk. So the vision
Hmm.
there, the goal there is this will be the first segment episode of it where we're going to bring in, the topic is the importance of HBCUs. As you know, this year is the 50th anniversary of hip hop, but it's also the 35th anniversary of A Different World and
Right.
School Days, right? So we're bringing the combined cast of A Different World School Days, Jasmine Guy, Kadeem Harrison, and Darabelle. We're bringing them up to the Apollo,
I
right?
love
Nice.
Right. It's going to be moderated by a local radio DJ, local radio host, and we're going to talk about the importance of HBCUs. How did Hillman, right,
Mm.
affect you? How did going to Hillman or an HBCU affect your life, right?
Right.
And then we're going to have a conversation about that. And eventually, the goal there is to move inspired HBCU inspired to different campuses, to different cities, just like a TED Talk,
Oh,
right? We want to
Yes.
do it, yeah. We want to do it live in different areas so that we could have interaction, question and answer periods afterwards. If that makes any sense.
That's
so
really
if I
cool.
can just put
Sure.
a word in, if that would be great for AJ Calloway to host and to tour around the country. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay. He called me right before this call, so I'll tell him. I'll tell him that you said he should do it.
Okay, right?
I'll let him know. I'm making a
and
note right here.
and
Okay.
let's not forget our friend Terrence J, also
Oh
a
yeah,
North Carolina
yeah.
A&T alum too. So when you guys do North Carolina for the NY Classic, that might be something you can do there
And
as
right
well.
quick, hold on, Sybil, before you move on. As far as Albany not having a
All
debate,
Benny.
Albany,
Benny.
if you can get the sisters from Delta, I bet you they can give you a good debate. I'm just saying. Are you really taking notes? Oh,
I'm writing
you're
this down.
so
I'm
cute.
literally
I love
writing
it.
this down. I'm literally
I
writing this down.
love it. You are so cute.
Literally writing it down.
That's great. That's great. And then that brings us up to the Yard Fest on Saturday morning. What is that?
Yep. So the Yard Fest is just basically tailgating, homecoming.
Right.
That's right. So we're gonna most likely next year change it from Yard Fest. I mean, HBCUs know it as the Yard. We're
The
gonna call it
Yard,
home.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, or we're gonna call it homecoming, right? And during homecoming or the Yard, we're gonna have a career fair. Come as you are. So we'll have about 100. I think we have over 100 people that signed up to attend the career fair, submitted resumes. So you come as you are. You're going to a football game, but there may be an opportunity if you're looking for a job or you're looking for a career change. Come on in, come on by the
Love
career fair, right? And why not? All right. So it's a great place. Hopefully we get 35,000 or 68,000 folks there. But imagine if we get one person that's looking for a job to find a job.
And change their
Only
lives.
take one. Yep.
I've done my job. And you mentioned changed lives. So let me go back to HBC Inspired for a second, right? So you got to put your money where your mouth is, right?
Mhm.
And in my world, as an entrepreneur and as a businessman, you got to do what you say you're going to do, right? If my goal is to inspire people, right, and get students out, right? So the only thing that has a cost associated with it, a real cost associated with it, is the game and the step show, right? And the cost of both are minimal, right? The game tickets start at $25 and go up to $50. But HBCU Inspired, if I want to inspire people, right, and I want to get students out to it, like there's a cost associated to the Apollo, there's a cost associated with the artist. But you know what we're going to do? I've decided that we're just going to give the tickets away.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
I'm going to give the tickets away, right? So I want people to come on down. First episode, like you got the Jasmine guy. And, speaking about school days, you can't talk about school days without EU, right?
Right.
So EU is going to be performing at the Apollo.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that's awesome.
That's
So we have EU
awesome.
there. And then I'm throwing in there a gentleman that's going to speak. His segment is going to be why I love HBCU Inspired Through My Blue Eyes. That's going to be a segment.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm interested.
That's going to be a segment, right?
Okay.
And we have last year with the classic. And I digress for a little bit. With the classic, the goal of the classics is to bring the awareness to HBCUs, right? If we could reach one student, right? Just like if we could reach one person, get a job at the career fair, and it turns into a career, each one teach one, that works. So last year we had a young man. I do what's called an HBC. I do an HBC Impact Award. And last year, the gentleman, these awards are handmade out of African American HBCU grad out of Baltimore. And he called me up the morning of the game. He said, Albert, can I bring my nephew with me? Can you bring your nephew with you? Like, meet those awards.
Right.
Should be here, right? Like, bring anyone you want with you. Just get here. Don't get in an accident. Just get here. So long story short, his nephew comes with him. They're running through the parking lot. His nephew's out of breath. He sits down and he speaks to our career counselor, right? And they have a conversation. He's a high school age student. Hey, what do you, how old are you? What are you doing for college? I'm not going to college. Well, you should consider it. Take my card, give it to your mom, have your mom call me. So I heard about this. Game was it was September. I heard about this probably maybe June when I ordered the new awards for this year. And I'm told that this young man that Raquel Robinson, our education consultant, met, he's going to college. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you guys talking about? So they give me this whole story. I'm like, okay, yeah, get out of here. Get rid of him. Like, hang up the phone. And I called this guy. I called Raquel. I'm like, Raquel, tell me about this young man. And she's like, yeah, I met him. I spoke to his mom. Yada, yada. I said, well, he's going to Morehouse this year. And the only reason he's going to college is because he spoke to you.
Wow.
He applied to 6 schools, and 3 of them were HBCUs, and he got into 5 or 6 schools.
Oh,
That's awesome.
that's amazing.
So like for me,
Win-win.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's beautiful.
You can't. So you can't ask for anything else. So we reached one during the classic, And
Right.
if we could do it and reach many more, it'd be great.
Like
That's
my mom
beautiful.
used to say, you cast your bread upon the waters. You never know how it's going to affect others. But you're a prime example of that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, for people who want to come and want to take a look at the schedule, what's the website that they go to?
HBCUNYClassic.com.
Okay. Now they've seen the video, and we play it every show, so they know what to expect, and all of the pomp, the pageantry, the loving on each other, the great
Yeah.
food, and the bands, and just everything. It is spectacular, and if you haven't, you should. And this is a perfect opportunity, especially those who are in the Northeast. Come on there to MetLife and be a part of history. And congratulations to you, Mr. Williams. And
Congratulations. I hope you make a lot of money.
Thank you. Well, hope we change a lot of lives in the same time.
Good
So
for
that's
you.
right.
Good
That's
for
right.
It'll be a
you.
win-win.
Yes, I hope
Absolutely.
this is great. Good for you.
It'll be a win-win. Thank
And I
you.
hope you'll come back and join us again. This was really great. We appreciate
Absolutely.
your time.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you
you
for your
so
time. Thank you
much.
for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that is coming up next weekend. That's the 16th. So check it out and get there if you can. There's a song that she used to say that. Trailways, Yolanda. Do they even know what Trailways is anymore?
I didn't know that's what she was saying,
Oh,
but that's a
never
whole
mind.
nother thing. Yeah,
Okay. So ladies, that was great. And
that was great. That was great.
I think that is really exciting, and how
Yeah.
you reach out and inspire young people. He got accepted at,
Oh my
you know,
God, how great is that?
that's awesome. That is truly awesome.
And Sybil,
But
you know what I love about HBCUs and these classic games?
the
It's
food,
ours. And we really, well, just how supportive we are. Like
yeah,
these
yeah,
games,
it really is like a family
oh my
reunion.
goodness. I know when I was with Tom, we were with Tom and we went just around the country. I miss that. I miss going to the different big classic games and all of the fanfare that happens in the parking lot. It's also, oh, we didn't ask him about halftime.
Mm.
We didn't ask him about halftime.
Okay,
Hold
we'll
on for a
get.
second. He's here. Hold on.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yo,
Halftime.
Yolanda said we forgot to ask you about halftime.
Oh, that's fine. Halftime Battle of the Bands. It'll be showed in its entirety. So the game is actually live. The game is streamed on Peacock and shown live in CNBC. So
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
yeah.
Okay, you kind of buried the lead. That's a big deal.
Well, yeah.
Glad you
Yeah.
popped back in for
And
that.
I thought it was like, well, if you missed it, if you're not there,
Right.
you're gonna
I need somebody Peacock log in.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
streaming on Peacock and live
Yeah.
on TNT.
Right. Oh my
That's a little fact that we forgot, right?
Okay.
But game is streamed. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we show. Sometimes you watch a football game, and they cut to commercials when the band comes on the field. No, we're not doing that.
Oh,
We're
great.
gonna show the entire band. Now we we produce the show, so we have the elements of the show. Our partners at NBC allows us to, they're great partners. Do whatever you want, just make it TV quality. And
Wow.
that's the aim. Yeah.
Well, it
Oh,
is
Mr.
it is
Williams,
ready
that's
for prime time.
beautiful.
I'm
Yes.
telling you.
Yeah.
Those
Yes.
battles of the bands, they are
Yes.
ready for prime time. So good for
Absolutely.
you.
That's it. Oh,
Absolutely.
okay. Thanks
Is
again.
there
Sorry.
anything else we forgot to ask you that you want to mention?
Are there, okay, EU is the concert. We got
ECU's
the
a
Battle of the
concert,
Bands.
Battle of the
There'll be a
Bands.
lot of food.
Yeah.
It
And then
parties, Greek
parties at
show.
Greek Step show on Friday, and after party right after, about a couple hours after the game.
Okay.
Oh man, leave the kids at home.
No, we'll give you time to take the kids home and come back.
There you go.
After,
There you
after
go.
party is 10. After party is
Awesome.
10 o'clock.
Awesome. And if you
Okay.
see your kids at the after party, then that's a whole nother discussion.
That's a whole other discussion.
Albert Williams, thank you so much.
Thank you for hanging around.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Sorry, Sybil, for disrupting the show.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That was absolutely on time. Let's move to trending news. And are either of you familiar with the latest deadly social media challenge? It's the One Chip Challenge.
The
Have
what?
y'all heard about this? The
One
One Chip Challenge. It is a snack. It's a snack, and it's called the One Chip Challenge. And it is so hot that
like
it is
hot chip.
hot chip.
Mm.
And young people especially are paying like $8-10 for this package of called the one chip challenge, and ask you to take the challenge by eating this product, which is just so deadly hot.
Mm.
um, and unfortunately, a young 14-year-old boy took the one chip challenge. He got sick at school. The school called his mom. He started to feel better. He had a stomach ache. He started to feel better, and subsequently he came home and he laid down and he died. Um, so now the company has pulled the one chip challenge chip off of store shelves after the death of this teenager. The
Oh,
company responsible for the one chip challenge is yanking the product off of store shelves in response to this boy. He was 14 years old. The company has a statement at the top of its website saying the challenge is intended for adults only, with clear and prominent labeling highlighting the chip is not for children or anyone sensitive to spicy foods. That would
mm.
be me. The company is Paki, and they say it's seen an uptick in minors jumping in on the challenge, despite the warning label on the packaging, adding the company's now working with our retailers to remove the products from the shelves. They're even offering refunds to folks who've already purchased the challenge, and unclear if it's the end of the product line or if the plan is to ditch the product and come up with a new option. They say that it is already adheres to food safety standards, but it doesn't say that we understand that this is a deadly product that can kill young people. It was reported that a young African American boy, 14 years old, Harris Wolaba, died in Massachusetts, according to his mother, as a result of complications he suffered from consuming the chip at school.
Oh, I hate that.
She claims the school contacted her about a stomach ache. Allegedly, he was feeling better when he got home, but he collapsed and was rushed to the hospital not long after, where they confirmed his death.
Mm.
Okay, Sybil, go
And
back for a second
yeah,
because I'm slow processing sometimes. What's the challenge?
is to see if you can successfully eat this chip and to show your reaction without
So
burning your mouth.
it's a bag of chips.
Yeah,
Are
but
there
it's just one chip.
so
And
it's a bag that has one chip,
one chip. Yeah,
and you got to buy the bag that's one chip. And
yeah.
somebody asked, "What is the chip made of?"
The spice is like a habanero, but pepper. But it's what I've seen what it looks like, a tortilla chip to
Mm.
me. I'm not sure if that was the one, but I've seen something that looks
Okay.
like a tortilla
I'm
chip.
just
And
curious about the packaging. Like you package one chip, and
mhm.
somebody had. So you don't know this maybe, but how much does it cost to buy to
it,
participate in this
She said
challenge?
it was $10.
it's like $8 to $10.
And then you say on the website it says meant for adults and not children. But
Yeah,
when you think
yeah.
about challenges, like who hops on challenges? Not
Right.
adults.
It's not adults
It's
unless
mainly
they.
kids
Yeah. Right.
hopping on
And
challenges.
and some of our systems aren't that good anyway
No,
Right.
at this particular age. My system is worse now than it was then
yeah,
Right. No, that's true.
as
That's
an
absolutely
adult.
true. Yeah.
Oh
that's
my,
real. What is the word? Negligent.
negligent. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Oh,
And it's a lawsuit just waiting to happen.
yeah. Wow, that's so
And
heartbreaking.
there's a company that
Yeah.
that manufactured that put one chip in a bag and sold it, and people's like, okay,
Yeah,
I'll
gotta
buy it.
have that. Yeah.
But when you
I'll
think
bite.
about the challenge, like when it comes to spicy things, I have seen challenges with like spicy noodles or something like that, and you have to eat them in less than 5 minutes and not get any water. So they've come up with these crazy, these insane type of challenges when it comes to spice and kind of holding people hostage of drinking water and dairy products to kind of like soothe the hotness. Oh, that's what it looks like. So it looks like it's in a box.
It's a skull. It looks like a casket.
Wow.
That does look like a casket.
How eerie is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, Aprylette, what you're saying, you can go in your kitchen and do that. What I'm saying is, you're going to pay.
Oh no, they have noodles that are like literally like paying for noodles that are extremely hot, like these Japanese noodles, and people are taking these challenges on YouTube to
You
eat
see
them.
that? That's the chip.
Oh, that's
Mm,
the chip.
gotcha. Wow.
That's why I said it looks like a tortilla chip, but it's coated with the
Mhm.
hot spice.
And they call it a challenge, and all of the kids are getting on TikTok doing
Yep.
hashtag challenge.
Yeah, just like the cinnamon challenge, just
Yep.
like the knock you out challenge,
Yep.
and all of
Yep.
these other things that have just led to children dying
Everybody got to live their lives
or not.
or not.
And it's like, be careful of these challenges. So when it comes to these companies like this making a chip, like, oh, it's for adults, but it's like, who is challenges geared toward children?
Right.
Let's be for real here.
But it doesn't sound like it's good for adults either.
Oh,
No, it's not.
When it comes to I guess their patent and trying to, oh, well, we said it was for adults.
Adults,
Be for real.
and we told people don't sell it to children.
It's like, be for real.
Really?
That's dumb.
Wow.
And unfortunately, this young Black boy is now dead.
And he took it at school, the challenge, and they probably was laughing and
Bless his parents' heart. Oh,
Yeah.
bless his parents'
Yeah.
heart. That's awful.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Anybody else concerned about the latest hurricane? This one is moving very quickly. Hurricane Lee is its name, and it's moved from a Category 1 to a Category 4 in 12 hours over today.
Where is it?
Turning in the Atlantic, and it's expected to amplify into an extremely dangerous major hurricane. Well, at 4, that's pretty much it, according to the National Weather Service. The large ocean swells reaching the Lesser Antilles, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, Bermuda, and Hispaniola by the weekend. The swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip current conditions.
Wow.
And they say it's too soon to project the extent of the hurricane's potential impact, but for now, the Leeward Islands, which, as we said, is where the Caribbean and the Atlantic meet. So that's there with the British and the U.S. Virgin Islands, Anguilla, St. Martin, and St. Kitts areas. And they're not sure how it's going to end up, if it'll like curve around Florida on the east side of Florida, not going up the Atlantic, the Gulf of Mexico the way it has, but going around the Atlantic. And it might just clip a part of the United States, but they are hoping that it'll just keep going and then perhaps move off into Canadian waters. But this sucker is moving and it is picking up more steam.
Wow.
If it does, it goes from a 1 to a 4
in 12
hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're headed that way, please be careful. Please.
And pray for the people that are out there.
Amen.
We like to travel and vacation out there, but people actually live there, you know.
And here's the other thing, Aprylete, people who live in those places who have not recovered from the last storms that affected them in Puerto Rico, in the Virgin Islands, and other places like that. So please be careful. Please. Do you guys remember the high school coach who sued because on-field prayer, he was fired, or he was told not to have prayer on the field during a football game?
Yeah.
He took the case to the Supreme Court and he won.
Okay.
He came back
and played
one game and then he quit.
Okay.
Look at him. Okay. And then he played before that game. He better had.
The state football coach became a national figure when he was fired for praying on the field. He resigned after the first game following his reinstatement with the U.S. Supreme Court ruling. His name is Joe Kennedy. Made national headlines back in 2015 when he's let go from his position as an assistant coach at the Bremerton High School. This is in Washington State, just west of Seattle. And following the Bremerton Knights' victory that evening, he prayed at midfield by himself, according to a local news outlet. And less than 6 days later, he submitted his resignation.
Good for him. That's the way to do it. So now he's sitting at the house having a cigarette.
I hope he got his retirement papers in order during this time.
He did.
Yeah. In entertainment, another talk show host is being accused of creating a toxic work environment. Care to guess who this time? No, don't worry. It's not Sherry Shepherd.
No,
it's not.
That couldn't be.
No. John would not let that. This time it's Jimmy Fallon. has been accused of creating a toxic workspace environment by 16 current and former employees of the NBC TV show The Tonight Show. This reported pattern of toxic conduct is said to have begun when Fallon moved from late night to The Tonight Show. And due to the frequent turnover of showrunners who seemed incapable of willing to intervene, employees allegedly endured outbursts during Fallon's hard days. And they tried to maintain their best behavior. It was feared that they were seen chatting, and he sees that he might fly off. They said that some of this, they believe, had to do with his drinking, which he has acknowledged, but he doesn't drink so much anymore. So this was a story that was reported in Rolling Stone, and NBC is standing by Jimmy Fallon. But you remember during the pandemic, this is what led to the end of the Ellen DeGeneres show, and said to create a toxic environment. And this is when she, gave Twitch boss an advance and made him one of the producers of the show, and tried to change the whole climate around that, and apparently it didn't work, but they're hoping for this change. But 16 former and current employees saying that's
Well, this is kind of mean and negative, but the end of Ellen was the beginning of J HUD, and so maybe the end of Jimmy Kimmel could be the
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon could be the beginning for Jay Farrell or Jamie Smooth or whomever.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a positive twist on it.
That's always you. That's always you. Yep. So George Wallace, what you doing?
Okay, George. Yeah, right. Right.
What you doing?
You just never know what goes on behind closed doors.
No, that is true. And folks that work in TV, I will say, the money ain't all that great to be in a toxic environment. That's all I want to say.
No, and it's not just television; it's radio. There are toxic environments in radio.
No,
and podcasts and shows.
Sybil, so for old heads, like I'll just speak for myself. What might be toxic to Aprylete is just work for me.
It's just another day in the office.
Aprylete and her generation is they recognize it as toxic and they not having it. And the only thing what she had to say about it is the money ain't worth it. I love that about young people. I do. I love that because you are more valuable than those dollars that you're making, and you are going to be treated a certain way. When my people will be like,
in our generation and our parents' generation,
take it.
Yeah.
Good.
And it's like I will say too, it boils down. Well, I know for me, I'm kind of like in the middle because like I've thugged it out. It's been survival, right?
Okay.
I think the generation behind me is definitely more like, if this is not working.
Is there a generation behind you?
Hear me? Yeah. I'm not that young.
Oh, yes, you are. We like it.
I'll receive it. Yeah. But I grew up thugging some things out and sticking to it, and longevity when it comes to multiple jobs that I've had, like definitely longevity in spaces where it's just like, but we gotta kind of do what you gotta do. But yeah.
So would you still thug it out?
Knowing what you know now and where you are in life.
Great question.
A job. I'm sorry.
Great question.
Yeah, but would I still thug it out? Honestly, I'm very practical when it comes to things. So when I look outside my window and I'm on my balcony and I'm walking Gucci and I'm eating my food, I'm just like, well, gotta make a living. So it's just like I'm going to do what I need to do. Now I'm very conscious when it comes to budgeting and things like that. So if I can, when I left the industry, I made a decision for self because I was at that moment, but I did it for 10 years. And it's like, I have to make a decision for self, but I was able to maneuver and navigate without working for 6 months. And that was my little sabbatical, right? So I would say I would if necessary, but if I had things together on the back end, absolutely not. Like I would leave.
Okay, that's good. I'm great. I'm happy to hear that.
It's like both hands. Like
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because what I would like to do is I would like to teach young people that it doesn't matter what environment you're in, what situation, what circumstances, again, that you have peace in no matter what. So you can't treat me any kind of way. If you say something crazy, that's you saying something crazy, but I only receive that which applies to me.
Ooh,
And so,
part.
so I take my
But
power.
is that delusional sometimes when you say, "Oh, that doesn't apply to me"?
I will walk in delusion. I
Okay.
my
If it
siblings,
serves her peace, like
my siblings think I'm quite delusional, and I am, but I'm happy and I have peace,
Right.
and nothing gets to me.
That's true.
So I like delusion.
Delusion works for you.
if it works, and you can sleep at night, baby. Because
And
sleep is a part of the essential 8. We all need it.
so, Sybil, let me ask you this: is it delusion, or is it ego, in that I think that I am more superior than the person who's putting me down, so therefore you can't be talking crazy to me?
I think that's James Williams.
You really, really, really trying, and bless your heart. Yeah.
Look, either way you want to look at it.
Thank you, Aprylete.
Some days it may be that, other days it may be delusion.
Okay. What? It's a day that ends in Y.
All right, Aprylete, I always try to come a positive way. I mean, I'm just not sure that delusion is going to come across. So what else we got?
Yeah, look
we
now.
We have God. Yes, absolutely. Thanks, ladies. I appreciate you. We're going to close out with another word from Yogi's Jewel. Yeah. We've been told determination will get you a long way in life. Believe it.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
I receive.
That was good. Who
that was good. I received.
I received that from myself to myself. Yes. Oh, it's fun. Thank you. Don't forget, there's a big football classic coming up, and we want everybody to be a part of it. Hopefully you can attend, and if you can't, you can see it streaming on Peacock or on live on CNBC. But check this out.
Get ready for an epic showdown on September 16th as Morehouse and Albany State take the field for the Toyota HBCU NY Classic at MetLife Stadium.
Football season is back, and this is the game you can't miss.
Join us for the world's largest HBCU homecoming to experience the thrill of HBCU culture like never before.
Enjoy the ultimate celebration with a pregame tailgate, battle of the bands, and an iconic halftime show.
Don't wait. Get your tickets now at hbcunyclassic.com.